not back. Doughy, pale ass fucking Mike is not back. Okay, guys, you know what? It's been way too long. Let's bring on our guest. Nolan, go ahead, cam up and mic up. Let's get this shit on the road. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Put your hands together for our guest today, Mr. Nolan Guenther. Nolan Guenther of everybody's podcast is gone and dead and died, except for mine. There he is, everybody! Hey, there he is. And just like that.
How do I follow that up?
Easy. You have that voice. That's just. I love that. By the way, Moving Dutchman, thank you for turning me on to the cheerleader woo. That is incredible. Thank you so much. Someone said that I should, because I have the Ric Flair shirts, or I'm sorry, the pro wrestler shirts out for sale, and I'm trying to not get copyright infringement, so I'm calling it the pro wrestler woo design, and I was like, I gotta rename the emo, and someone said name him Nick Flair instead of Ric Flair. I was thinking maybe Nick Hair, because Nick Flair is even a little too close. So anyways, what should I name him, Nolan? Welcome to the show. What should I name my emo?
Oh, I got put on the spot with that one, huh? Every wrestler I love is dead.
Hey! There it is. Oh my gosh. So Nolan, you have a beautiful voice. Do you
Thank you.
Do you sing, or do you just talk gracefully into mics?
The singing isn't as good as the talking. So in my mind, I got like a Barry White thing going on.
Nice.
It does not translate.
I feel you. My voice is not worth a shit either in the singing department. As you guys saw last night, it was just god awful. But I do what I can.
It was awesome. I tried to watch as much as I could.
Oh, no worries, man. I appreciate you being there, and I appreciate you been hanging out and saying things and being a part of this. It's been awesome. So what was it that sort of got you? Because you're a broadcast DJ, and how long you been doing that?
Off and on. Well, I went to college way too long ago for radio. I guess that dates me a little bit. When did I graduate? 2005.
Oh,
so I went to school for radio, which sounds odd, but
why? Because the medium is dying.
Yeah, I thought it was dying then.
But everyone says it's dying, but it just keeps coming. It's persistent, man.
It keeps on going. It's evolved a little bit. I mean, satellite radio and HD radio, and now the world of Twitch and podcasting and all that certainly lends itself to broadcasters really well.
Right.
But a lot of this stuff didn't exist when I was going to school. We did everything on mini disc players and that sort of thing.
Right.
So I went to school for radio broadcasting. I liked the on-air stuff, but I actually gravitated a little bit more towards production. I really like doing audio editing. I love making commercials. I love doing, different segments on artists and that sort of thing. So I kept that going for quite a bit after college. Worked with some dance studios, did some audio production there, some independent stuff here and there. But then I really kind of fell out of it. And it was the last year or so with a significant amount of change, the world being flipped on its head, where I really kind of wanted to get back into it. And I'm home. Why not get back into something that I love? So started doing some internet radio stuff, started the podcast. Those worlds have kind of merged and evolved quite a bit. But that's a little bit of that journey.
Yeah, well, sorry. I'm like trying to use my phone here. Yeah. Oh, anyways, what was it that sort of like, what is it about editing like audio? Because I kind of have that same thing where it's like, for whatever reason, like it seems mundane and it seems like, it seems kind of silly, but like for whatever reason, I get so much satisfaction of like, let's just say putting together the podcast and like just having my intro and then finding the music and placing it and having the fades go in so it like perfectly fades into the next segment and having background music and having these cuts where like because I'm trying to like because a lot of times I cut out a lot of the show, like Cypher Deluxe or like the games. I cut that out of the audio because those are very visual and I kind of want to make the stream have some stuff that's special, so that sort of incentivize people to come over to the stream. Oh, and blast your ears out because God damn it. I gotta get my volumes under control. I blasted everybody's ear out last night and today, and it's in the YouTube video. God damn it. Gotta do better at quality control. But there's something really fun about putting together these different elements to create this whole. And I'm just curious on like what you like about it, because again, these things are to a lot of people probably seem mundane and just kind of silly, but like for me, you're creating it's like painting or anything else, like to create like my podcast over the years has very much turned into I want it all to just flow. So I want this to fade out to the next thing. I want music to keep it going. I want like a little like 2-bar break between the song and the opening song, and like there's just very specific things that I've implemented over the years that I just really love. And I don't know. So why do you like it? Most people I know who like, oh, I fucking hate editing. Like my wife hates editing. She thinks it's the worst. So it's like, what is it about it that you like about it?
I think you touched on a lot of the points there. So,
oh, I'm glad I answered your question for you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. You brought that all around. For me, like I've always been a creative type of person. I love drawing. I love painting. I love creating. I like making music, whatever it might be. But all of those things I'm okay at. When it comes to audio editing, when I can sit down, when I can take a 2-hour interview, cut it up, take out breathiness, take out ums and ahs, whatever it might be, add some music, give it some flair, edit a music bed so that it just syncs up at the right point. There's something so fulfilling about that. And you're right, like you feel like an artist. You feel like you've just accomplished, the greatest painting of your life when you put that together. It's a really fulfilling moment. And I think that's why I gravitated towards that over the on-air stuff. As much as I love the on-air and I love voicing things, I'm thankful for having a bit of the voice and the ability to speak, mainly so I can drive the podcast, so I can drive the elements that live underneath that, so I can drive, on air if I'm doing a sweep or something like that. I can do that piece. I don't have to hit up Fiverr and get a voice or ask a friend to do it. So really that's kind of the love of it for me, just being able to throw my headphones on, those quick keyboard shortcuts. There's just something so fulfilling about that when you can grab your spot, you can slice it, you can marry it back together, and you get those things working so well, and you just feel like, I don't know, it's like a scene out of Hackers or something like that. You just feel like you've got it all figured out. So when I was in college, we were actually doing audio editing on a reel-to-reel. So we'd have to edit, our instructor put together like a 30-second bed, and there was purposeful ums, ahs, sneeze, wheeze that was in there. So what we had to do was we had to take the audio reel, slice it with a razor blade, tape it back together. So for those of you who've ever listened to music on a cassette, you've probably done something similar. My Smashing Pumpkins Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness was essentially my preparation for college, because that tape was so scotch taped back together over the years. But we did that my first year of college, and it's just like when you're going through high school and you're like, why do I need this math? When am I ever going to use this? You're in your first year of radio and you're like, when am I ever going to use these skills I've learned to edit a reel-to-reel tape? But they're like, no, we assure you there's going to be a station out there that uses this. To date, I haven't found one, but it's cool to be like, hey, I've done that.
Yeah.
I know how to do it if it ever comes up. So.
And it's like one of those things that are kind of like niche, like people really like that kind of that thing, you know, that like me and my wife, we record our album completely on the tape, and it was completely all analog, and it got that sound that we were looking for. But then he dumps it into Pro Tools and edits the tape sound afterwards. So anybody who's out there like with a razor blade and Scotch tape right now, well, fuck you. Like, you're just doing it to yourself. But, you know, like, and props, you know, like, great. You can do that thing that no one does anymore. Wonderful. It's like learning Latin. Let's go. My major is in Latin. I went to school for Latin. So it is cool to know, but I think it's one of those things that is just like, you're just doing too much now. It's like, you're just doing too much. You know, like, the act of recording on the tape is amazing. And like, I'm not shitting on that. I'm shitting on the idea of editing said tape, because you're, like you said, you know, you have your razor blade, you have your tape, you want to loop something, you have to literally physically loop it with a tape, and you know, and so it's like it's just a very time consuming and just archaic way of working. Talk about a workflow killer. I have to fucking, I need a quick loop here. Okay, give me about an hour and a half and I'll have that to you. Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of purists though, right? There's a lot of people who swear by the analog process. And you're right, like, it sounds amazing. You get that hiss of the tape. I love listening to vinyl. I love the hiss and the pop and those kind of sounds that come in there. But in this day and age, when you've got endless tools at your fingertips that you could do an infinitely better job of, I think that conversation for the purists kind of goes out the window. I mean, you can do a lot of things digitally that you can't do in an analog environment anymore, and don't need to do in an analog environment anymore. So I'm all for both formats, but I also like the easy route as much as possible.
Yeah. We're not. Oh, thank you, lovely. Thank you for the lyric. Appreciate it. It's a cool thing to know, but like, what is it doing? It's, you know, but again, purist. But you've never found a studio with a tape in it, and it feels like you went to a school that was like a little behind the times, because I went to school the same time as you, and our recording class was all digital workstations, and like, it was all Pro Tools and Reason, like 3.0, and this is back in 2003 or 4. So, you know, I went to school at the same time, and I went to a shitty community college. So I don't know what's going on at your school. I'm not trying to shit on it. I'm not trying to shit on your degree or anything. I'm just saying. Did you only learn on tape, or were they also teaching you digital ways?
Yeah, we also learned digital. So funny story about the first year, they really kind of took us down this analog path. Everything was analog. We had tests with reel to reel. And I remember our first final on our first year, we had audio or CD carts. Remember those? They kind of look like 8 tracks, but they had the CD in them.
Yes.
And it was usually a single. So we had 3 CD cart decks. And they just kind of threw everything at us. So we went into the booth. We had to have all of our breaks written down, ready to go, because there was no computer in there. And then we had whatever means we had. So we had a mini disc player that had some music on it. We had our 3 CD carts. And then they gave us a Steve Earle Copperhead Road album. It's probably been there since that song came out. It was old. It had been used way too much. And what we had to do, put that on the turntable. Yet while you're playing your music off your CD cart, you're queuing it up and listening from the needle to hear where your song needs to start and when you can talk to for your break and hit your post. So that was our first year final. We got into second year. We never touched any of that stuff. We had a full automation system that we were able to use. We did all of our tracking digitally. Basically, not a lot has changed from my second year to now in terms of like how we used a lot of those tools. And we were all just kind of reeling in our second year, like, why did you make us do all that stuff? And we never touched it again. But I get the concept behind it. So yeah, we used a lot of digital in the second year, and we were able to enter the studio a lot more, use the big mixing board, do all of our recording and editing digitally in there. So yeah, very cool way to learn the craft.
Yeah, I think it's a cool way to learn the craft. You know, if we're back in 1974, Tammy, thank you so much for that host. I appreciate it. How are you, Tammy? Thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying your day. Yeah, that old school, like to me that feels like whoever's in charge of the department, it was just a little behind in the times, or they just, I just, more and more I just find school, unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or a physicist, like I just more and more I'm looking at school like what a waste of time and money at this point in America, I should say. In American schooling, I mean, I know like we're known for having great institutions here, but when you look at how learning the history of the craft, yeah, and that's fine and that's cool, and I know I'm being kind of dismissive here, but it's just, to me, I'm finding more and more that these educational institutions are just really trying to make money, and very little care goes into what's actually being taught, because, you know, and I'm kind of talking out of my ass here, considering that my education stops at community college. But when you look at how things are going and how people are having hard times finding work, even after they have their degree in communications, you know, like they're still not able to find jobs. And I mean, especially now when we're in the middle of a pandemic, and hopefully we're not in the middle. Hopefully we're towards the end, but you never know. Buenos Aires is going back into lockdown. So, you know, things can change at the drop of a dime. Anyways, that was my little, like, anti-college, like, what an asshole. What an asshole I am. Fuck you, college. God. Anyways, you're also a musician. I know you downplay that a little, but like you play music as well. Where does that start? Where does that story begin?
Well, that story begins a long time ago. It really started to kind of develop once I got into junior high and started hanging out with some buddies who shared like minds and similar interests, and we're all kind of picking up instruments at the same time. I really kind of played with the core group of guys all throughout the grade school years, little bit into the beginning of college.
And what do you play?
Sorry?
What are you playing? What instrument?
I'm playing guitar. So I dabbled in everything. You know, I like to play. We would kind of trade instruments in rehearsals and try and translate that to the stage. You know, playing bass, playing guitar, backup vocals wherever I could. So I started learning guitar in, I guess, the 7th grade. I had a buddy whose parents were going through a split, and I think to make things easier on him, they bought him a Fender Stratocaster and an amp, and spent like $2,000 on the kid.
Oh, shit.
And he had no idea what he was doing. But I was like, man, I love that. I want that. So I ended up replicating that with the most knockoff guitar that you can. You know, when you walk into a music store, they've got all their beautiful guitars. They've got their Gibsons up there. They've got, you know, their Fenders hanging on the wall. And then you kind of gravitate towards like the discount bin. And there's a $125 guitar hanging there. And you're like, well, that one looks like that one over there. Is this a Stratocaster? And they're like, no. But that's the one I got. Yeah, of course, and started to learn on that. And it was basement jam sessions and that sort of thing. And we played all through through high school, and like I said, into a little bit of the beginning of college, and I think we all had larger aspirations than talent. Not to downplay the rest of the band. I mean, we had some good players in there, and I think we could have made something of it, but that's where life kind of kicks in, and you know, everybody had met girls at that point or drugs.
Girls and drugs.
So some of us went the way of the girls, some of us went the way of the drugs. But yeah, it never really panned out. And I think like with with coaching, and I've done that too, so I'm not going to dismiss coaching, but a lot of coaches get to where they are because maybe their career playing wasn't as successful. And I think the marriage of my interest in music, my interest in love of music, my interest in theater and performing, and my lack of interest in anything scientific or mathematical really pushed me in that direction of like, well, radio seems like a great place to be.
Yeah.
And you know, I pick up the guitar. I think I'm better now than I was then. I'd like to think I am. My mental retention for some of it, though, like, I can't sit down and play a song that I wrote 10 years ago. I have to listen to it and like, oh, what did I do there? How did I do that? So I can't retain music like I used to. And then since I started podcasting, I have played maybe a handful of times. I haven't really picked up the guitar much lately, but I've brought it closer. It's closer to me now. So if I need a break, it's you know, right outside my black box, and I can take a little bit of a mental break and then go, well, that sucks. I'm going to go edit some audio.
Yeah. So then is music sort of a release for you then, for you personally?
Yeah, it really is. It's always been a release, whether it's been playing it, whether it's been listening to it, whether if it's been, you know, just experiencing it. That is my outlet. I mean, there's, you know, my kids and my family, and then music in terms of importance.
Not even yourself.
Not even myself.
Music
I'll
over
put
me.
myself like fifth or sixth down the line.
Yeah. Well, I get that. I get that a lot too, man. Like the people that I started playing with when I was a kid, you know, I don't even know where those people are anymore. You know, like I don't even know what that is anymore. But I get it, man. I get it. I get that idea of like, you know, it's just it didn't hold your attention like that. And it's just like it's just like you love music and you want to play it, but it's just, you know, like players, they vary on a spectrum. They come in all shapes and sizes and skill levels, and it's really weird when like really good musicians shit on like musicians who are like not as experienced as them, because it's not that musicians are shitty. It's just that the lack of experience and well, some musicians can be shitty. Like some musicians, I knew this kid. He died. Good riddance. He died. No, that has nothing to do. He had played the guitar for at least 15 or 16 years, and this dude still couldn't do bar chords, still couldn't do all these things. And he would just be like, yeah, man, I've been playing for like 15 years. And then you'd hear him talking to people, and it's like, bro, you should hang this up. If you think that this is like what good is, then you're not. I don't think this is meant for you. And it obviously wasn't, but not because he's dead, but because he just never did anything with it, you know, like it was just one of those things. I just think that the magnetism of music and art, I mean, it's going to grab you however it grabs you. And it just depends on who you are and how receptive you are to it. And if you're not that drawn to it, then it's definitely a profession that you should get the fuck out of real quick, because it's a fucking trip, you know, like this music business is nuts. Like I've never been a part of any kind of work that's like this, you know, like it's just gypsies and traveling gypsies and fucking and hucksters and charlatans and people who want to be musicians, but who are just glomming on because they want to be musicians, and but they don't have the talent to back it up. So they're just, you know, it's just such a weird place to try to be creative, the business side of things. And it's just it could be devastating to some, and for some people just like the abuse, like myself. So it's some people are just fools and keep chasing. Some people figure out that there's other things in life, like Nolan, and you went to school and completed school, I might add, which I did not. So then what was what was your, like, when you graduated high school and you were going into broadcasting? Oh, by the way, I'll come back. Let's circle back to that. When you edit out your ums and hms and breaths and stuff, or like
Not
how deep
all
do you
of them.
go into it? How do you?
Yeah, not all of them. I try and make sure that it stays natural. I don't want to cut up too much,
Right.
Especially with a guest. I want them to come across as natural. Definitely long pauses or moments of silence or anything like that we'll cut out of there. But I don't go too crazy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Back in college, that was something that it was like you needed to do. You couldn't have anything that had any sort of vocal, disturbance in it or anything like that. It had to be a clean product. So they really instilled in us from an early point that, it had to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I now realize, like, the world of podcasting, there's a lot of good podcasts out there without hosts that are trained, educated. They're good conversationalists.
Right.
And people can kind of forgive any of those pieces in the background for a good conversation, for something interesting and compelling. So I think there's a lot more space in podcasting to be natural and to be yourself and to have a less polished product. But I think where there's opportunity to be polished, I love it.
Right.
Any kind of production elements to throw in there, music, just things that keep it interesting and keep it going rather than straight voice for however long it might be.
Right. Yeah, I'm with that, and that is what was really cool about the podcasting world, is that it opened it up, and there were some bad things that happened too, but it opened up. It took away the gatekeepers to broadcasting and getting your message out however you need to, and they. And I don't know why my show has been growing and still growing, because since the beginning haven't really put that much effort into editing out any of the ums or hms or anything. Like, I'll edit things out that people want edited out, and then I'll edit stuff out if I say something really, really stupid and egregious. I have done that before, and but other than that, I keep it very, very pure to the conversation and what's happening in that space. Now that we're on Twitch, there's more opportunity for me to sort of go in and take things out that I don't want, because there's certain aspects of the show that don't make sense in an audio setting. So, I've been having to put that more work into it. But I was curious on just how much you went into and edited, because you have your podcast sounds great. And everybody, if you guys don't know, because you are real, you are not fake, in my opinion. Oh, well, thank you, Tammy. I try to be real. I'm so real, I'm telling Nolan before we go live, I have to go take a chicken wing poop. I'll be right back. That's how
It's
real
true, that
shit.
happened.
That's how real shit gets over here. And I forgot what I was gonna type. Oh well, it is fucking. In any case, that's what's beautiful about this forum, this medium, is that it doesn't have to be perfect, and people can put out things. Like when Jordan Peterson first came back, I know Canadia's hero, their crown prince, Jordan Peterson, when he came back from his break, I guess, he got addicted to drugs, and he stopped doing podcasts for a while. When he first came back, the first podcasts were like barely audible, but like the fact that he was back, like people were downloading it like crazy. People love Jordan Peterson, and they don't care if he's like screaming off the side of a fucking building, like however he's talking, people want to hear it. And like it's just, it could be the worst sounding thing, which it was. And I'm just like, well, how is my podcast sounding better than Jordan Peterson's podcast? Well, it's because fucking he was just doing his thing, and he's not a broadcaster, he's a speaker, but he was able to sort of take his ideas and the way he talks and turn it into something really interesting that people want to hear, and people will forgive that the shitty sound, and which I did. I sat there and listened to the whole fucking thing because I wanted to hear him talk to, God, who was it? It was some British dude, some British conservative dude. I can't remember his name, but anyways, it's just it's just a really cool medium, I feel like, to really express yourself fully and get things out. I really like what you do because you kind of treat it like not like a radio show, but like kind of like a radio show almost. Like you have your intro, and then you'll do music news, and you got like different segments that I really enjoy it. And that's that level of production you're kind of talking about of adding in these different elements to sort of make it a little more entertaining, a little bit more exciting, anything to sort of bring it up. What was sort of the idea of your podcast when you went into it? Like what was the vision going into it, and then has it changed or is it morphing?
Yeah, I'd love to say I had this bold strategy when I started doing it, but it was literally, I'm gonna get a mic and I'm gonna talk about music, and I'm a big metal guy. I love metal. I love punk. I love rock, and I love a lot of other genres, but I wanted to pay a little homage to where I love to hang out in that world. And when the podcast started, it literally was like 12, 15 minutes. It was quick hits. Here's your rock news. I would do new releases, and I'd do live stream shows because that's the world that we live in. And my mentality for it was, the thing I miss the most is live music right now. So if there's a way to communicate, if bands are doing a live stream, if they have new albums, if there's news about them, there's not a lot of rock news right now because the world is kind of quiet. However, just before we got on here, Mudvayne announced that they're reuniting, and I am stoked about that.
Mudvayne!
So that's going to be awesome. That's the big news this year for sure.
Hey, coming to a podcast near you.
Coming to a podcast near you. That will definitely appear on Thursday's new music news. So really, that's kind of where it kind of kicked off from. I was trying to get my feet underneath me in terms of understanding how to put together a podcast, how to distribute a podcast, how to market a podcast. And while that was all going on, I was also getting better and better and starting to book guests. And I think guests are really where the show transformed for the better, because I started getting some really amazing guests on the show pretty early on. And there's that moment of imposter syndrome where you're like, I'm not worthy. This is just a tiny little basement hobby of mine. I'm a nobody. Why would these guests want to come on my show? But you really start to realize that this world, and maybe the pandemic world helps a bit, is everybody feels like they're in this together. And without that being that cliche, we're all in this together. It's like, if we can promote other musicians, other creators, other artists, and vice versa, we're all going to get out of this hopefully okay. Maybe not better than we were going into it, but hopefully okay enough that we can get our bearings, get back to it. I can go see a friggin' concert soon because I'm dying. So that's really where the show transformed. Now, fundamentally, it's still what it started out being. I still definitely favor metal and rock news, but we've had some guests on there. We've had rappers on there. We've had, Wonky Tonk was on there, so a bit of that folk flair. We've had some metal guys on there. But and then now, you were on there. I had EBX Aaron on there. We've had a really wide breadth of people coming on there that's actually expanded my musical tastes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I was an elitist. That metal world is really kind of a difficult place to live in, because it's like, if I listen to death metal, I only listen to death metal, and that's all I listen to, and I don't listen to anything else. I've never been like that. There's 9 million types of different metal that I can enjoy. But I also want to listen to, 90s grunge, and I want to listen to some reggae, and I want to listen to, some old school hip hop and that sort of thing. I keep it diverse, but this show has really helped me look a lot beyond my boundaries of where I would normally stop and enjoy things that I previously might have turned my nose up at. So I've changed hosting the podcast. I do think that I'm sort of on the bubble of the next evolution for the podcast once this season is over. And what I did, the first season ended up being 3 episodes. I stopped it at the end of 2020 and said, you know what, screw it, 2020 is behind us. Let's start 2021 on the right note. And we started a new season, whatever that means. I mean, it's all just a continuation of episodes at this point, but I love TV, so maybe I'm like,
I like season things too. Yeah, that's fun. It's fun. It's fun.
It's fun, but yeah, I feel like there's maybe an evolution on the horizon where we kind of explore more than just this rock world. I don't want to go too far outside of that realm, because if I start talking about contemporary rap, I am just talking out of my ass. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't enjoy the majority of pop music, so that wouldn't really go very well. But there's a lot of rock adjacent stuff out there that maybe isn't getting the love that it should. And if we can introduce somebody to a new artist every week that maybe they didn't listen to before, regardless of the genre, that's only going to help their tastes and help that artist, once they go stream that artist 1 million times and they get a little bit of revenue from it, help them get back to form. But that's kind of where we're at in the evolution of that podcast.
That's another thing I love about podcasts, is that you're so free to sort of just play with it. You're free. Like, I remember going into the podcast, and I remember saying to the guy that I started with, like, I want the show to be malleable. I want it to be something that can change with us, with me, whatever it is. I want it to be able to change with my environment. And it was really damn you, damn. But
Go buy some followers. We can go 50-50.
yeah, bigfollows.com. Get yourself some here at We Speak English Good TV. Hey! No, but like with my podcast, for instance, I've been able to have different eras. I think we talked about this on your show. I did so many, but like we have I have different eras of the show where it's like, I have my San Diego studio set up, which was awesome, and that's what kicked everything off. And I had amazing, incredible musicians come through that studio, and then I had sort of the van life experience moving from San Diego to Ohio. And then the Ohio years, and then now the Twitch years. And so like this, it's just it's the best medium for someone like me, for some ADHD asshole like me, because it's very hard for me to stay entertained with what I'm doing if it doesn't. Yes, I want Reina, hold on. I'm going to do it. Let me see if I can do it actually.
Lower the band hammer?
Yeah, because I've been saying to Ray, I don't know how to do it, but I do know how to do it, I think.
Hey.
There you are. He's out. Yes, I do. Moving Dutchman wants to be famous. Come on. So what's been great about it for me is just the fact that I can change. And it seems like it's working out for you as well in that aspect, where it can sort of just change with how you're feeling, what you want to go. Like you're saying that you there's sort of an evolution happening, and it's helping you. Hey, Leon, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. It's sort of helping you. It's sort of helping you expand your own taste, and that's one thing too that was really cool about this, is that I didn't have much experience interviewing, and my speaking to other people's skills were garbage. And so what this whole thing did was it forced me to solidify ideas and solidify beliefs and solidify what I'm actually coming from, because I have a whole Jesus, it's been like 7 years now. I have a whole 7 years of backlog that I feel is pretty consistent in what I'm saying about the world. Now I'm evolving. I say stupid stuff. I've said stupid stuff on the show. I've said awful things on the show that I wish that I wouldn't have said on the show. But it's all part of this journey. It's all part of this bigger picture that I just absolutely love. And I have listeners who's been listening since the beginning of the show. And so it's just so weird, it's just such a weird thing. And that these people just keep following wherever it goes, wherever I'm taking it. And I don't know, like it's made me want to make sure what I'm saying, and especially when I'm speaking about things that are a little more, beyond just music and, process and shit. When we're getting into the weeds, when we're getting into the political sphere, when we're getting into social issues, it's like it forced me to make sure that not everyone's going to agree with me, and that's fine. I don't care. But I want to make sure at least that I'm consistently and I'm staying true to what I want to say and how I want to present it. And thank you, Mermaid Serenade. I appreciate that 100 biddies coming in strong. I hope you're doing well, everybody. The Leon Lounge is also a podcaster. And I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to the Leon Lounge. Boop. And Mermaid Serenade is an amazing artist who I think is a very nice person as well. So, Reina, I got you. You know what? Twice as nice. There it is. Yeah. So it's something that makes you. It's sort of formed, not a personality, because it's not like I was going through life without personality. Dex, thank you so much for that sub, buddy. Thank you so much. This is for you. Hold on. This one is for you. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Here it is. This is for you. This is my new thank you for everyone.
Hello and welcome to We Speak English Good TV. I'm your announcer, Seth Rogen. Now everyone put your doobies in the air, or your hands together, whichever you prefer, for your host, Mike EP. Yay!
Hello and welcome to We Speak English Good TV. I'm your announcer, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
There you go. There you go, buddy. Thank you, Jean-Claude. Thank you, Seth Rogen. I appreciate that little snippet that you sent in for me. And thank you, Dex, for coming on board and taking the leap. Taking the leap! Thanks for coming through last night as well. It was really fun. And I sent your package out this morning. It will be getting there whenever it gets there. And then here's the fun part about this. Where were we? We were talking about how the show solidifies ideas and it makes you. So have you found that as well? Like when you're talking to people, because I know you don't necessarily go for. You like to keep it music and where we were talking. I've only listened to a few of your episodes, but like you like to keep it on music and you keep on task and stuff. Whereas I know when I came on, it was just like, we're going everywhere, because I just feel like I just railroad people into that song. But have you found that it sort of has made you, I guess solidify ideas. I mean, not necessarily solidify ideas, but at least really focus in on what you're saying. I mean, and plus you have, obviously you have experience with being on air and broadcasting. So you have lots of training in not just saying stupid things into a microphone, but with the idea of a podcast where you're sort of unhinged and you don't have these parameters that you do on broadcast radio. People tend to say get wild. People will say really dumb shit. I've had guests say really dumb shit that I had to edit out. The stuff that I just don't want going out there in general. Has that happened to you? Have you found yourself sort of solidifying ideas and sort of sort of getting a better understanding of yourself and how you operate as an interviewer? And have you had interview experience before the podcast?
So on the first part, I think it's helped a little bit with solidifying some ideas. I do generally I kind of set the table with a lot of the guests of like, no politics. Like, I don't want to get into it. The world's too divided right now.
Right.
And it's come up a little bit from time to time, but thankfully opinions haven't really surfaced too much. I did have one particular guest, and it was a great interview. And then towards the end of the interview, they mentioned something about, the flat earth conspiracy and that sort of thing, and how they wanted to get into that. And his wife's in the background like, don't do it, don't do it. So I actually ended up just cutting it out of there. Not that I wanted to silence his opinion, but it didn't serve the interview in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I know he was doing it. He was a little bit of a troll. So
Yeah.
that was the only time where I felt like, okay, I'm going to cut a little bit out. And I did actually have some turmoil about that, and it wasn't even a big deal. Thankfully, most of my guests have been, like, most of them have an upcoming project or something that they want to promote, or something that's recently come out. So we've kept it fairly on topic. I think one thing I'd like to do more of is allow more to kind of come out, more of that personality, whether from myself or from my guests, to just kind of feel comfortable doing their thing. Tying it into the interviewing, I have a day job. So in my day job, for the last 15 years, I've been responsible for a lot of interviewing and bringing people on board and recruiting the right kinds of people. So interview experience in a professional environment actually lends itself pretty well to interviewing artists and that sort of thing. And it helps you come across a little bit more professional, if that's important. I think sometimes maybe I am maybe a little bit too rigid with that, and don't allow some of that free thinking to come out. So I want to make sure that guard comes down in those interviews. But I've used a lot of that professional interviewing experience to kind of bring it in and have that go a little bit more naturally. I've stopped writing down, ask this question. I've got some ideas and points in my show notes over to this side, but really kind of like, where do you want to take this? What do you want to talk about? How do we get there? And musicians love talking about music. They love talking about their music, other people's music, their influences, how they make that sound, what equipment they use. So there's a ton of material that's there, but sometimes when a little bit of that, like, well, here's some turmoil that the band had, or here's a time that we disagreed on a song and how we brought that back, that stuff can make really interesting stories. So hopefully the guard comes down as we talk, and it usually gets there. But I really want to kind of go more that direction where people can really just open up, and maybe not an Oprah style interview where they're crying on the other side. I don't want to get that deep on this stuff, but make sure that they feel like they can let their personality out a little bit too.
Yeah. Dude, the crying stuff is always fun, and it's always gold. Like, crying, you want tears. Tears are gold.
Tears sell.
Tears. That's right, baby. Tears sell. I love that. I love that you're trying to go into that more of a free form kind of thing. It's the only way, because at the beginning of my podcasting career, I was the same way, and I still do that. Actually, if I have ideas on like where I want to go with a guest, or if I have ideas on, if I'm like doing research, I love it when guests have like a big online footprint, because you can just sort of go in and like really dig in and do, and that's a really fun part for me as well of this whole thing is researching and watching the videos, listening to the music, watching the interviews, watching performances, watching, like, just reading articles. Like, it's just very fun for me, but it is like, oh shit, what were we just saying? What were we talking about? I'm sorry.
Being able to kind of bring down those walls, let it have free flowing.
Thank you. That's the problem with free flowing. It just flows right the fuck out of your head. Yeah, but like at the beginning of my experiences, like I would have like all these questions, and it would just be like, this very monotonous back and forth type thing. Whereas now it's very, if I even write any notes down, now it's like notes for my intros, but now it's just like I'll just have different ideas that's like, or topics or something, and like while we're talking as well, I write shit down as well. So like you were saying stuff and I missed it, and we had to go back, but talking about editing ums out, and so I just wrote edit ums, and then like experience interviewing, and I'll just write that down really quickly, and just so when I look back boom, and when a topic sort of runs its course, I'll just sort of look over and be like, oh yeah, that thing, and then it'll just keep going. It's a machine now, but it's just you learn how to sort of work with yourself as someone interviewing, but that side of you. So you interview people for like like work, for like just regular work. It's not like art or anything like that. It's not art related. It's just okay, cool. No, I'm just curious because I do see that too, because there's different there's different ways to get better at let's just say interviewing. There's different ways to get better at something that isn't directly involved with doing the act of doing it. Like you interview people, and those skills that you've learned, it's not like you sit there and you ask them what's some like basic ass interview questions. It's like what's your biggest weakness? That I work too hard. It's like, I mean, outside of those cookie cutter questions, it kind of helps you. I could see how it could help you sort of navigate through, meeting someone new and trying to get to the crux of a personality. What do you look for when you are hiring, when you're doing interviews and stuff? What are you looking for? What are the things that you're looking for? What are the red flags you're looking for?
For me, I've spent so long in a leadership type role, and I want to have people on my team, obviously, who are skilled, who can do what they need to do to get the job done. But God, it's got to be in your mind to be like, I got to sit down with this person and have a conversation with them at least once a week. Can I enjoy it? Can we go get a coffee? Can we have a good conversation? Will they tell me more than just like, oh, I push the buttons and make the work?
Right.
It's pretty easy to tell right away if you can hit it off with somebody and have a good conversation and know that there's going to be a relationship that you can build there. Because I really do find that building that personal relationship and learning about somebody and understanding what they enjoy and what they do beyond work, what is your identity outside of these four walls, really helps people feel like they belong and like they're important in their role. So some red flags, honestly, one of those ones is the lack of balance. I mean, if all you want to do is work all day long and never take a break, and you're going to work through your lunch and you're going to work 4 hours of overtime every day and you've got nothing better to do, it's a bit of a red flag. It's going to lead to burnout for sure. Yeah. When it comes to that kind of thing. But yeah, really just kind of looking for good fits and good people and the genuine nature of people comes out pretty early on. Even if people want to wear a mask and hide behind, whatever veil they want to put in front of you, it's pretty easy to see through that once you've done enough of them. But there's always interview ninjas. Those are the people who, man, they come in, they kill that interview. You think they're going to just rock it, and then it does not work out like you hoped. Those are the interview ninjas. They're so good at this.
Well, talking about good fits, it's like, because you can, okay, I see where you're going with there. Moving touchbit. Give me 1 second. Let me finish this thought if I can remember it. That ninja aspect, that's really weird, right? Because it's like somebody who went and like they learned how to be, how to come off as useful and competent, but that's where it stopped, right? Like that's where they stopped learning. It's like, if only I can put on the veneer, if only I could put on the mask, and then once I get the position, just shit it, just shit the bed on it.
Totally.
How does that get past? Like, how do you get past that? Like, I mean, I know there's just some people out there who are just liars and they're great at it. I mean, actors, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, how do you? I don't even know how to ask that. It's like, how do you weed that out? How can you weed that out? I mean, like, what is it? What are like some early signs after the hiring process that sort of cue you in that this person is just like was full of shit?
Listening to your other team members' input is
Uh-huh.
usually really good. I like to involve, my team as much as possible when we do interviews anyways, just to kind of do that initial screening. Also, it's a bit of like, hey, if I screw this up, these guys helped. So I can't complain about it. It's like if you don't vote, you can't complain.
There you go.
But yeah, your team will be the first group to tell you if this person was just blowing smoke or not.
Yeah.
But there's going to be other things that come out too. I mean, stuff that they mentioned that they knew how to do that all of a sudden they don't know how to do, or they need a lot of hand holding on. I am definitely one of those people where it's like skills can be taught. So you don't need to come in here knowing how to do everything. We can help you out with that. But knowing how to do some stuff, knowing how to do the fundamentals is important. So that helps weed it out fairly quick. And you have to call it out in the moment. I mean, a lot of people, I think, are afraid to address challenges and concerns and issues because they don't want to hurt people's feelings. They don't want to be, I don't want to be perceived as not a nice guy or whatever it might be. If you call it out early enough and in the moment, you can correct it. Because a lot of folks don't know what they don't know. And maybe they think they're doing a great job, but they're so far off. So if you let it go, it just kind of reinforces their mind that they're doing a great job. Nobody's told them otherwise. So that's kind of my approach to it. Sometimes you just have to admit to yourself, like, I screwed this one up big time, and cut your losses and try again next time. And then use that as a learning experience too. But there's some people who are just so good at it that they're going to get through, at least when it comes to artist interviews and that sort of thing. If somebody knows how to talk and how to, even if they are blowing smoke a little bit, it can still make a pretty interesting interview.
Yeah.
But in a job world and in when you're applying for something, you can see through it pretty quick.
It's like, yeah, if you're applying for a job, know how to kind of do the job.
Yeah, right. Seems important.
Do you think that people consider you a good leader, a good boss? Are you well regarded, or do you think that people are just like, fuck that guy?
I think it depends on the day, man.
Yeah.
There's certain people that, I pride myself. I generally get along with everybody. I think I'm a good conversationalist. And,
You are.
I try to be real as much as I can. But there's just certain people that you don't gel with in life. And I've come across that a couple times in my life where it's like, this person and we just butt heads and we're never going to see eye to eye. And it gets so contentious so quick. And then you kind of get wrapped up into that.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm like, they like me. Why don't you like me? And then you have to start going down like a performance management route. And then it's like, well, it's obvious why you don't like me because I'm starting the process of your termination. So you can't win them all.
Yeah.
But I think generally I've still got people that, reported to me, were on my team years ago that I stay in touch with, that will still reach out, that, we've got the LinkedIn stuff going on, whatever it might be. And I've had really good relationships with people and seen people, somebody I'm really proud of was somebody that I kind of mentored into a leadership position. And when I left my last company, they kind of moved into the position I was in. So seeing stuff like that makes you really proud.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot more of that than the contentious ones, but for some reason it's like the bad reviews, they always stick out for you, even if there's a couple of them. Those are the ones that I'm like, what went wrong? What did I mess up here? And then you sort of rationalize it. It's like, no, it's them. It's definitely them.
And that's just, sometimes it's just them. And yeah. Okay. So Baby Yoda is coming up on us, and I want to come back to this, but Baby Yoda, I need to summon you. Baby Yoda, are you there? Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda, how you doing? Oh, there you are. How you doing today, Baby Yoda? How you doing today, Baby Yoda? How are you? All right. Well, Baby Yoda, you're very
Good.
Good. Oh, he's good. He's good. Baby Yoda. What do you have a question for our guest today, Nolan Guenther?
Guenther.
Nolan Guenther?
We speak
Yeah.
English good.
What's your question?
How old are you?
I'm 35.
35.
Much younger than Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Baby Yoda, do you have another question for Nolan? Because that was a pretty quick question.
I do have a question for you.
Oh, for me?
WSEG.
Oh, okay. What's the question for me?
Stop blowing the stuff at it. Stop. Don't make people's ears bleed.
Thanks, Baby Yoda. Look, Baby Yoda, the music stream is still something I'm trying to get a handle on. There's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot to manage, okay? There's a lot to remember, and sometimes I forget to turn the volume down before I start hitting the air horn, okay? And a prime example is that I almost did that. Oh, Baby Yoda, look at this. Can you see that? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Anyways, baby, Nolan, do you have a question for our dear Baby Yoda?
So many questions for Baby Yoda.
Looks great.
Looks great.
That's great.
Baby Yoda, do you prefer your frogs live or in the egg?
Ooh. Do you prefer your frogs live or in the egg?
I prefer my frogs alive. Well, actually dead.
Oh.
I don't want to eat a live frog.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, there you go. He doesn't want to eat a live frog, and I don't either. Do you remember that Bear Grylls episode, Baby Yoda, where he's in that what is that? He's in some like cave or something, and he just picks up a big bullfrog and just bites it in half and starts chewing. Do you remember that episode? Great. All right. Baby Yoda, everybody. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Baby Yoda. That was great. Anyways, Baby Yoda had to go. It was just time for Baby Yoda to take off. There you go. Moving Dutchman. I hope that was long enough. Baby Yoda kind of ended it on his own accord. So I was trying to keep Moving Dutchman demands a long Baby Yoda interview. So I try to give them what they want. But I can't help what Baby Yoda. Yeah, Baby Yoda's trying to come back, but Baby Yoda's done. Thank you, Baby Yoda. We appreciate you. We're done now. So what are like certain aspects, is there specific aspects of your job, your day job, that you do take into an interview setting with a musician or with somebody else? He has more. Don't cut off Baby Yoda. You know what? I asked the next question. Maybe we'll bring back Baby Yoda. I don't know. Next question has been asked. So go ahead.
Yeah, I like I said, try to make the guests comfortable. It's such a weird world where we're online, we're on Zoom, but I feel now a little bit more than a year into it, people are feeling comfortable enough that this isn't weird for them anymore. I guess it's always going to be a little bit weird, but yeah, I mean, it's trying to just make people comfortable off the hop. Some of the best conversations I've had have actually come after we've done the recording. So we turn.
Isn't that some bullshit? I'm just like, where was this person?
It's been good though, because then I get to learn about people. I've made some great friends doing this, and people that we stay in contact with, and it always leads to kind of mutual benefit. You know, promoting their material, they'll promote you, that sort of stuff, but. It's just those connections in that network that we make. So besides the interviewing stuff, it's just making people comfortable and getting a genuine connection, which is something I do in my job. I mean, I always have to kind of make connections with people and find out how they work. And I bring that back to the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my goal too, is like, can we make these people... What sucks is that I'm a very anxious person, and before a show, it's like, for whatever reason, I'm so I'm just so jacked up that I come off as like, I feel like I come off as a lunatic. I'm like, okay, well, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna go live, and then I'm gonna come in, and then around 3:05, I'm gonna come back, and you're gonna be on there. And then it's like, okay, bye. And like that's how it feels. I don't know if that's what it came off as. I'm getting better, but then like once the show is on, I feel like I just go into a mode. Like there's just like a switch flips, and or at least it gradually flips into a comfortable space. However comfortable you can be in this position, which is never really that comfortable. My hands are sweating like crazy, but still, it's just one of those things where it's like I feel like at the beginning of the show, I'm talking to these people and they're just like, who is this person who just threw all this energy at me? And then now I have to talk to them. And then I come on and then we have like a pretty decent conversation most of the time.
It probably worked out well because we had already had, 2
Yes.
hours on my podcast. So I knew what to expect. But
Right. Yeah. And today, yeah, exactly. I was like very much prepared. Like, oh, I'm okay. We're going to, I know Nolan. We're basically friends now. So it's
yeah, exactly.
basically family. So it's like, it's all going to be good. But I'm sorry.
Go to Salad Galley together.
Yeah, definitely. I would take you to Salad Galley. You come down here, I'll show you a good time at Salad Galley, buddy. But you were saying,
yeah, I always get anxious before interviews because I always have this like, oh, they're going to cancel, they're not going to show up, oh, they're going to reschedule. So I'm like messaging beforehand, send them an email like, hey, we still good, whatever it might be. Before your interview, I mentioned I got dragged running around the countryside delivering bacon of all things. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. Like I've got mic set up. Like I need to make this happen. But then, yeah, we get on there and it's like totally chill. And so far, I haven't talked to any duds yet, but I'm sure it's to come. Like they say, don't meet your idols. So I'm sure as I start interviewing some of those folks, I might be like, oh, they kind of suck.
well, and the thing about those people is it's kind of a fun challenge to pull out the good stuff because I've definitely had a few people that turn out to be really good interviews because even though that they're like trying to give you the yes and no or like speed through their life, like, and then I'm here now. Okay. So it's like, I started playing drums at 10 and then I went to college and now here I am. And it's like, wait, hold on now. you just ran through your whole career in 2 sentences. Let's try to figure this shit out. But sometimes it can be fun and kind of a challenge to pull, really, basically good content out of this person's head. And I gotta say, like some of the most boring people I've talked to but there's only been one that sticks out in my head where it was just absolutely the worst. Like it was this dude who was a pro skating he was a videographer for pro skaters, like top of the top. And he also did like this modular thing. It's a festival that he puts on. And I swear to God, it was just an hour of just the most boring thing. And I was like, you've lived an incredible life. Are you serious? Like, I know skaters. I know what kind of people they are. And you're hanging around skaters and you're this boring? How is that even possible? How is that possible? Some people are just boring as fuck. Can't be helped. I agree. And that's just how it is. And that's fine. You just don't have a place here sometimes. It's just whatever. Okay. So Reina has redeemed another Baby Yoda. We're gonna make it one Baby Yoda per show, but that hasn't happened.
Back.
He's coming back. So Baby Yoda, I'm summoning Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. Oh, I threw him. Hold on, I'll be right back. Baby Yoda, can you hear me, Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. What happened last time? What happened? You left so soon. We moved on.
Sorry, my ship got a little terminate.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, the internet, it kind of broke up.
Yeah, you're on the phone. So, what did you have to say that was so important that you had to have our mod redeem another Baby Yoda interview?
Kind of like that.
Huh?
Because my ship kind of got like the Wi-Fi had a little.
Oh, it had a glitch in the Wi-Fi on the
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
my connection was not so good.
That's okay. What was your question for Nolan? You said you had another question.
I have a question for you, WSEG.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
Why are you having your why are you having everyone's ears blow out and bleed?
Yeah, Baby Yoda, you just asked this question and I answered it.
I couldn't really hear you. Remember, my Wi-Fi sucked.
LOL, fucking Yoda, exactly. Listen, it's because there's a lot to manage in those big music streams. I'm not only am I managing all of my equipment, but I'm managing 3 other grown babies' equipment. And every time I'm trying to talk to the chat, they're like, blah, 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 blah. So I have to mute them. I have to watch my volumes. I have to watch their volumes. I have to watch chat. I have to make sure there's no frames dropping. I have to make sure that I'm watching for the requests coming in. I have a lot to do. And so, yes, I made a couple mistakes and blew people's ears out and made them bleed. Sorry, Bonnie, and everybody else who was here last night.
Well, it happened 2 days in a row.
Listen.
They and the other.
What is this? All you want to do, Baby Yoda, is come on here and berate me on my own show?
Yeah, and when I came down to Earth, my Yoda mom got me some Buffalo Wild Wings. Got me a chicken rat.
Okay. Is that it, Baby Yoda? Is that all you wanted to say? Is that all you had to say?
Yep.
Okay. Baby Yoda, everybody. Give him a round of applause. Yay. Hey. All right, Baby Yoda. Thank you so much for coming back on and berating me in front of my guests and chat. And thank you for that. So
It's a little funny.
It was a little funny. It was. Thank you for the woo, Reina Mystique. All right, Baby Yoda. All right. I'll see you later. Bye. Get the fuck out of here. All right. Anyways, I love you, Baby Yoda. You're the best. Anyways, you mentioned burnout as like a way that, you know, sometimes people will, that you're working for, you will just sort of never take breaks and stuff. I don't know. I was talking about it. I was on someone else's podcast where they were talking about burnout and what it looks like. And it was just a whole podcast about burnout and how to sort of overcome it. And it was actually a really good conversation. But I was just curious, what does burnout look like for you? Like, do you get to that position? Have you ever been in that position?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm currently in it.
He's like, right now, motherfucker, you're looking at it.
Right now, this is what burnout looks like. I think for everybody, it's a little bit different. And I think some people, they'll work harder and they'll do more and they won't admit to themselves that they're even burning out, or they don't know what that burnout is.
Right.
I think the last year has been hard on all of us, regardless of what your situation has been. I'm fortunate to have a good job. My wife has a good job. My kids are healthy. They're in school. There shouldn't be anything about the last year besides, you know, obviously the looming virus, disease all around us that makes it bad. But I think this is the first time in my history where it's been like, you have to stay at home. You can't go do the things that you love. You can't go and eat movie theater popcorn in a movie and you watch Godzilla versus Kong. Those things all really suck. Couple that with your office is your gym, is your hobby room, is sometimes your bedroom, is your podcast studio. And it's just like Groundhog Day, man. Like, you feel like Bill Murray and every day is exactly the same. And you're waking up to the same Sonny and Cher song or whatever it might be. Like, it just feels the same. And then we're in Canada, so you get into the winter months or spring months, and it's cold and it's snowy and you can't go out and you're kind of stuck at home. So there's a lot of things that lead to that burnout. I think people are a little bit more aware of it now. Just mental health in general is one of those things that has been maybe destigmatized a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think
people
so.
talk about it more.
Yeah.
There's safe spaces. You make a safe space for that. Twitch in general, on the streams I enjoy, seems like a pretty safe space to talk about it. Media is talking about it a little bit more, but there's still that notion of taboo to admit, like, I am at my peak threshold of stress or anxiety, or, I don't want to get out of bed today. I can't do another Excel spreadsheet. I can't have another interview because my brain is just foggy. And it's still taboo. It's hard to mention that to your boss. It's hard to mention that to your coworkers. It's hard to mention that to your family. But honestly, once you admit that to yourself and can start talking about it, you can start to get better. You can start to manage it, start to get on the right track, talk to a therapist, whatever it might be. I know that goes a little beyond the bounds of like, what does burnout look like? But
No, that it all helps. It all contributes to it. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's one big thing, and I think if we can realize when a friend's having trouble, when a coworker's having trouble, when a family member's having trouble, and just say, hey, like, I'm here. If you want to chat, if you want to sit in a room and stare at a blank screen and say nothing, I'm here for that, whatever it might be. I think we all need that in our lives. And sometimes you just need to get in the fetal position and cry under a blanket. That can feel really good too.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. No, yeah, I agree, man. Like, mental health has become, and I have to give it up to the younger generations who are really embracing it. I think that we're embracing it. I don't like the fact that we're embracing it to the point of censoring ourselves, but I do like that we are embracing it in the sense that we're not just, we're not robots. We're not, we are finite. We're not, like this idea that you can just work fucking 14, 17 hours a day forever. And and especially here in America, that kind of mentality of like, you're about hard worker and you gotta work until you're dead. And it's like, what are you talking about? It's not nonsense. Which there's nothing wrong with being a hard worker, but there is something wrong with working so hard that you kill yourself and you ignore your family and you just fucking, like, this is the only thing that matters to me. It seems rather selfish, but it's But it is like this thing that I feel like the younger generation is sort of embracing and promoting a lot. And I talk to a lot of young musicians and stuff, and they're all talking about their feelings and shit. And it's like, I remember when I was in high school, if someone started talking like that, we'd call them the F word, not fuck. The other F word that I won't say, obviously, and which I don't want to say, but I have said when I was younger. I come from a different generation, which sounds so boomer, but like in high school, we would just call our friends the F word and tell them to shut up, and it's like, well, no wonder we ended up like this. I ended up like a mess. Like, we're all over here fucking telling each other to shut up our feelings, and it's ingrained into us. And in fact, our culture promotes it as being strong you're strong if you just shoulder your burden and move on, which you do need to shoulder your burden, but like you do need to let that out as well. Like, you can't just live under the fact that I was beaten as a child, so for the rest of my life I'm that victim now. But you can, you have to like process that and get past that to heal and grow. But it's like, I feel like some people live in that mentality and that victimhood forever. And it's like, look, I had a fucked up childhood myself, and everybody has a fucked up childhood. Everybody has problems, and let's talk about it. Let's get it out, but let's figure it out to a point where it's not controlling your life, and it's like your identity. You know what I mean? My identity is that I was like beaten as a child. Like, that's why. It just doesn't make sense to me. I know that's an extreme example, but there are people who are living their lives like that. And it's just like, I don't know how you can relive that forever and not like processes it, because it just seems like you're just using it to, I don't know. What's the purpose? You want attention because of that? Like what is the purpose of that? But I don't know. It's just, we do need to get that shit out. It does need to come out, and I do respect the younger generations for embracing this and sort of making it into the mainstream. And even in the culture of music and stuff, you hear these young rappers talking about their feelings and shit. You know, it's like when we were coming up, it was all about fucking. It's like making money, slapping hoes, fucking, you know, fucking bitches, you know, like fucking shooting motherfuckers, killing cops. It's like. And again, these are just people speaking the truth and speaking about what they came from and what they know. So it's not like it's wrong or we should silence them or that it should have never been released. But it is just a different way of looking at things, and we sort of evolved, you know, past that. And there's still our gangster rapper genres and stuff. We still love our gangster rappers, but still, it's like that is not what the mainstream rap is now. And if you just look at it musically, by the culture, we sort of moved way past that, and we're on to like, you know, feelings, taking fizz, fucking, you know, all the good stuff that kids are into these days. But I don't know, man. It is burnout. I think burnout definitely relates to mental health and how, you know, how you process it and how you process your work, how you process your life, how you process your relationships and shit. It's just, you have to have a good perspective on it, or else you'll end up doing that. During the beginning part of the pandemic and when all our gigs were canceled, I immediately just turned inward and started working on the podcast. Louie, what's up, baby? Good to see you, brother. I just started working on the podcast so much. I was building out my website. I was building out, you know, start getting ready for Twitch and stuff. And I was so involved in that my family was like, yo, you should like spend time with us. And, you know, we're going through shit too, bro. And it's just a habit now that I've sort of have to fight against. Even it's like this need to keep creating, this need to get work done, this need to fucking keep going and produce and go. It persists so hard now more than ever, and I actually have to come to this point where I have to like stop myself. Like at the end of the night, I'll put my phone on the other side of the room. I shut the laptop. It's like all my attention should be on what my family's doing. And that's the only way. And like, otherwise I'm not sleeping. I'm depressed. I'm erratic. It's madness. It's madness if I just keep going on this thing. So I don't know, like for you, burnout is just not, I don't know, like what, I know I asked you what it looks like for you, and you were sort of saying that I'm bummed out I can't go to the movies, but like for me, burnout is like fucking like it's madness. So I guess on a mental health aspect, what is it for you? What does it look like?
A lot of that. There's this like sick notion when you're working from home and over this last year that like, well, what else are you going to do? Where else are you going to be?
Right.
I'm going to shoot you an email at 11:30. You should probably send me a response right away. And that's messed up. But speaking about like that creative side, like because I love it so much and because that's what I want to do, I will find myself, I'll just go for hours, you know, putting together production elements, you know, editing an interview, editing music, doing all of these different things. And you know, when the kids are home, it's like, well, let's put down what we're doing and go do something fun and try and get out. And I have this habit of taking on a lot and trying to balance all the plates at once. They will fall at some point. And I've had a few fall over the last year where it's just like, I can't do that anymore. I stepped back from my full-time gig on the radio station because it was just 9 hours every weekend. So I'd work all week. I'd have the podcast in the evenings. Then Thursday, Friday night, I'd need to start getting my Saturday show ready. Saturday, I start getting my Sunday show done. Sometimes that carries into Sunday where I'm like hours before the show and tracking stuff. And it was getting to be too much. And my energy was better spent on the podcast. And then I had time to see my family. So you start to feel it. My sleep has never been great. I think we talked about that before. It's certainly gotten worse as the months roll on with more of the same. So trying to figure that out right now. And the electronics and trying to stay on top of like this busy schedule and this busy production stuff, they will eat into that and keep you awake. And you're thinking about, oh, my guest interview tomorrow, I need to go do this laundry list of things about that. When really it's all going to kind of work out. This is becoming, second nature. So I don't want to say I don't need to be as prepared because that sounds like, oh, I don't care about this as much. But it's like, you know what you're doing. You got this. You don't have to freak out about it. And it helps you maybe rest a little bit easier. And it's tough though, man. Like balancing all that stuff, being at home, being around family as often, like you'll love them, but at times you just want to be like, where is my quiet space? How do I get away from all the noise and the slamming and the toys dropping and the screaming and the fighting? And it's like, I can't even go just to like hang out at the movies by myself because I would do that.
I'm just going to go watch a movie, guys. You have fun here. No,
I don't even care what it is.
Bro, you don't have to tell me about that. It's like, I have the fun position to be with somebody who really wants you to be close to them all the time, which is a very lovely thing. I think it's a very beautiful thing. It's like all this person wants is your time, and I think that's great. And so anytime that I put a distance between that, it just everything turns real ugly. It's like if they're doing like, because she does the homeschooling, the majority of the homeschooling now. So like if they're working and I'm trying to work and it's just too much, I'll get up and try to go and they'll be like, where are you going? Why are you leaving? What do you have to do that's so important that you have to abandon your family? So like I'm that person who's never going to have an office. I'm not allowed to have like an office outside of the house and stuff. So it's a very lovely thing. It's a lovely quality in someone to just want to be with you and spend time with you all the time, and that's great. But then it's like, man, I just have to get some shit done. Like, I love you still. I think you're great. You make me sound crazy. Well, my dear, I'm not calling you crazy, but you definitely got a lock on these balls. All right, so it's all good. I love you. You're the greatest. But sometimes it's just a little too much because I am just easily distracted, ADHD shit going on, and it's already hard enough for me to stay on task. How are you with task and like getting stuff done? Like, are you one of those people who you do one thing at a time and you get done with this thing and you prioritize what needs to get done first? You get one thing done, then you move on to the next until you're done? Or are you one of those people who are like, oh, I gotta send this email, oh wait, I gotta do this first, oh let me do this real quick, let me respond to this person real quick, okay hold on, let me do this, oh shit, that's funny, that's a funny meme, look, it's a funny meme, yeah. That's really funny, okay, what was I doing, oh, I gotta send that email to Nolan, okay, hold on, wait, fuck. So which one are you? Are you the asshole who doesn't get anything done, or are you the guy who gets everything done?
I need to practice what I preach a little bit more, because I always talk to my people about like, do like-minded tasks together. If you've got a whole bunch of invoicing that you need to do, do them all at once. Get your emails done between 8 and 9. Don't check it again until 1 o'clock, something like that.
Right.
So I'm always great at suggesting how people should structure their lives. Not great at following my own advice. Lists are good. I had somebody kind of express to me how they put things together, and they talked about like the tactile nature of having that notepad, putting your item on there as something to achieve. You put it on there, you cross it off when it's done. You get that moment of like, I feel fulfilled. I did it. I'm not so great at that. I don't let anything fall by the wayside. I get everything done. I am a chronic procrastinator and will do it at the very last moment. And it will be as good, probably even better than if I got it done weeks in advance, just because that like pressure makes it so that I can get it done. I've got a lot of anxiety, and that anxiety over the years has worked out in my favor more than it hasn't. And I say that because it sort of gets me into that panic mode where I just get super productive. You start cleaning a counter on a Saturday and all of a sudden you've spent 4 hours cleaning the house top to bottom because you're like, well, I can't just start here. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. So that's kind of how I operate. I don't really lose track of stuff. I don't really let anything slip by the wayside. If I think of it, I'll do it. When I'm making a podcast, so I usually do it in 2 chunks. So I do my first half, I've got a bit of a break, I do my second half. While I'm waiting for the first half to mix, I'll usually jump into the second half, start editing that, then I'll go back and I'll grab this. But then you realize like I've done 20 different, activities, and I've spent 4 hours, and I've also looked up 12 different memes because my phone will be right there and I'm like, well, I'm waiting, I'm scrolling and that sort of thing. So it's like I could make a better use of my time if I kind of had that like rigid list of here's all the things that need to happen every time you come to this activity. But I don't follow my own advice.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. But I have gotten better at lists. Like lists have like been so important for me, and it's like one of those things that my wife was like, you should write this shit down. I'm just like, whatever. I got it right here, baby, right here. It's right here, right here. It's just like, you fucking idiot. It's not anywhere. It goes right out into the ether as soon as it goes in. It's right out. So my notebook. My wife even made me a journal, because she loves me and just wants to spend time with me, and I am very grateful for that. And so, like, but if you look at this, if you looked at my journal, it's literally it looks like it's rants from a madman, just incomplete sentences, scribble, white people, scribble, like salad galley, scribble, like, are you a good boss? Like what, like if someone is trying to like look at this and try to understand it and like, well, I just need a bigger picture of who Mike EP is, they'd be like, what in the fuck is this? I have been duped. I don't know why I even cared about what this person had to say. But the stick it to your own advice, that's tough, man, because you got all the quick one-liners for everybody, but it's just like when you're in the middle of it yourself, you're just like, and we're just all human. That's it. We can't all be Jocko Willenick. It's like up at 4 a.m. doing fucking deadlifts. It's okay, bro. It's like not that serious. But it is to some people. So whatever. So I got. Hold on. I was wondering what do you put into your, like, how, because you were saying that you get ready for your radio shows. Are you broadcasting currently? I can't remember.
No, I've taken a step back. Last weekend was my last regular shift, so I'm doing fill-ins on the radio station, but it's been kind of nice to have a bit of a break from that.
So what is it that goes into a show, like for the for your particular radio show?
Yeah. That one was, my Sunday show was the one that I put a lot more effort into. Of course, you want to stay on top of current events, what the artists are up to. Our format changed quite a bit. What started off as a classic rock station really evolved into a lot more new hits and stuff I had never heard of in my life. So all of a sudden you have to find out things about these bands and these artists that you wouldn't hear in my YouTube playlist. It's not going to come up. And sometimes you find something that you're like, oh, that's actually pretty good. I enjoy that. So doing research on that, I used to do, or I do a segment called Tales from Around the Web. So I love to just find the wackiest news stories from the week and present that back, a little bit Jimmy Fallon style. So I usually do a couple of those. And then one thing I loved doing on that particular station, and because it was an online radio station, there's a lot more freedom. That was tightening up quite a bit, but I was doing an hour of hard rock and an hour of punk rock. Of course, whatever was approved on the station, I didn't have a whole lot of freedom to, here's DOA. Can't do that. But it's like, oh, well, they've got the Ramones in there, and maybe there's an older Green Day song or something. So you could do that kind of stuff. And then it was just getting it voiced and tracked, because we do that ahead of time. Spoiler alert, the magic of radio, it's not always done live. There are some that do it live, and the opportunity was there, but getting it done beforehand meant that you didn't have to sit in one spot for 4 hours and track a show. It meant you could track your 4-hour show in an hour and a half. To get it done, along with some research. So there is some prep work. I would say there's a lot more work that goes into the podcast, just in terms of like that artist research, finding out about them. And I'm like you, if the artist has a huge online presence, I'm just jumping for joy. I'm like, oh good, there's music videos, there's songs, there's other reports and articles about the artist, there's pictures. Sometimes finding pictures of an artist to put on your cover is pulling teeth.
That's why I don't ask. Well, I asked you, but that's only because we had a rapport. When I reach out to people, I'm just like, here's the minimum amount of information, and here's the flyer that I just took from your Facebook. and like, no one's ever been like, I did have one person be like, can you change the picture? And that's okay. It's like, I went on your fucking Facebook without your knowledge or anything, no permissions, nothing, and grabbed it. So if you want me to change the picture, that's completely fair. I understand. You got a certain look that you want to be represented as, and I get it. So it's fine. But for the most part, I don't give people the opportunity to like I don't ask people what don't you want to talk about. And I don't care. I don't care what you don't want to talk about. If you don't want to talk about it, you won't talk about it. It's just like all these things that people do when I hear them say, it's like, oh, I give them, what topics do you not want to do? May I have a picture? And what I find is that the more you communicate with your guests, like the more emails you're sending, the more times you're bothering them for something, the least likely they are to respond. So like, if you can get it all in on an email and have the least amount of back and forth as possible, unless they want to do the back and forth. But most of the time when I'm reaching out to people, I just assume that they're busy as fuck, like me. I'm busy as fuck. I got shit to do. And to look up, for them to have to go and do all this stuff, I just feel like it's kind of a big ask. Yeah, R.I.P. Joey. Didn't acknowledge the 15th. He mentioned the Ramones. Yeah.
Joey Ramone. Pete Davidson's going to be playing him in a movie.
Oh, well, there you go. That's fun.
There you go. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. So you were saying that you kind of have you're kind of restricted in your options for the radio station. And so you just have a song list you can start to pick from? Is that what it is?
Generally it'll schedule your music for you. So when you go into it,
Wait, they'll schedule the music for you, so you don't even have a say on what it is?
You don't get a ton of input from the onset, but that doesn't mean that you can't go in there and start picking out stuff. I've got certain artists that are like no-go on my show. I let down my guard a little bit and played a little bit of that and let it roll. But there was certain artists that I was like, no, I'm good. So I picked them out of there right away. And then whatever was in the list, like there was a pretty extensive library, you could add stuff in, but the automation system, it schedules all your traffic for you. I think a lot of, terrestrial radio stations, they've got a traffic director in there and somebody who's involved with creating that music for you. But a lot of times you just leave it to the system. It'll put stuff in. You've got requirements like in Canada, we've got CanCom requirements. So the artist has to meet, I think, 3 of the 4 requirements to be considered Canadian content. So when you listen to the radio up here, it's a shit ton of Nickelback. mostly because stations are like, we don't have enough Canadian music.
It's like
This is
Nickelback
kind
and
of our only
Rush.
option. Yeah, you got Nickelback and Rush. I will take Rush any day over anything. Nickelback is like my no-go. I didn't play it on my show. You got the Bare Naked Ladies and Alanis Morissette and stuff like that. But there's
I
even
love
certain
Alanis,
stuff-
but Bare Naked Ladies could go eat shit. Where are you in Canada, Bonnie wants to know.
I am close to Calgary in Alberta,
There you go.
West Coast.
Alanis, yes. Alanis.
West Coast, but I'm 12 hours away from the ocean, so.
West Coast, bitch.
West Coast.
That was the most Canadian West Coast I've ever heard. West Coast. I don't know.
West Coast, eh?
West Coast, motherfucker. Hey, that was tight. That was good. What's that? Okay, so probably not the Nolan I once slept with. No, well, maybe. Who knows? I think people who have done interviews are nervous because people try to troll them sometimes. So if they've never watched, they feel cautious until they sell it. Yeah, I feel that. Especially when you're talking about like higher, like once you get up in the echelon of talking like of like players and musicians and the more famous I'm saying that people are, the more guarded they tend to be. And that's because they're used to getting side blinded by assholes. And it's like, I feel like side blinding is a cheap shot, but I feel like you can get to that same place without just being like, so why did you touch her there?
Yeah.
There's ways to sort of finesse a situation to where you might be able to get something out of them. But most people who've been through the ins and outs of the industry are like very aware of what you're saying to them and how they're going to answer, and they already have it in their head what they're going to say and not going to say. I think a really good book that I really love, it's by Neil. He wrote the Marilyn Manson book. He wrote the Motley Crue book. He helped write it. What's his name? He wrote for Rolling Stone. Neil. It's not Neil Gaiman. Is it Neil Gaiman? Is that who it is? Not Neil Peart. It's not Neil Peart. It's not Neil Gaiman. No, it's Neil. What is it? Gosh darn it. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm looking this up now.
Bonnie says Patrick Harris, Neil Patrick Harris.
No, it's not NPH. Get out of here.
Neil Diamond.
Yeah, keep them coming, guys.
It's all very helpful.
Yeah, you guys are very helpful for me. This is very great. Neil Strauss. Okay. He also wrote a book called, oh my God, what is it? It was about dating back. Okay, now that I know his name, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm doing research while fucking doing this, but he did a book on dating. What is it called? It's a pretty good book. It's Noble Works. So he did Long Road Out of Hell with Marilyn Manson, Dirty Money, the Motley Crue book, How to Make Love Like a Porn Star, Jenna Jameson book. It's called The Game. It's called Penetrating the Secret Society of a Pickup Artist. And what's really interesting about this is that he got really involved in the pickup artist work. My friend dated him for a while. Oh, sweet. That's dope. I'm a bit more alt. Leonard Cohen inspires a whole group of awesome Canadian musicians. Not everyone's taste, but I love the Wainwrights. I've heard of the Wainwrights, but I'm not familiar with them. Leonard Cohen is a fucking genius. He's such a creeper. Yeah, you know what? He is kind of a creeper because so what he did was he learned from these dating artists who would go out, and there's like different methods of sort of, it's kind of a fucked up thing now, and it's probably now looked at as like just horrible thing to do, but there's like different ways of hitting on women, and one of the ways was like negging. And so what that would be like to diminish their looks in any way you can without insulting them too much, but it's sort of to bring down their, bring them down. There was just different methods that people were finding, and this was huge back in like I think the early 2000s in Los Angeles. He was doing this, and they were going around saying like all the same pickup lines, and they were running around the country putting on seminars on how to pick girls up, pick up women. And it all involved like really fucked up things. I mean, nothing like so fucked up, not like, you know, inappropriate touch or anything like that. But it was all about being deceitful, and it was all about just trying to get laid. And, you know, if you're a dude who wants to just get laid, I guess, whatever, do your thing, just do it respectfully and, you know, try to find like-minded people. It's just that, I don't know. Why I brought that up in the first place. Sorry. The reason I brought this up was because he talks about, he's a great interviewer as well. So he's interviewed Britney Spears, who is notoriously a very hard interview because obviously it's Britney fucking Spears. She's had a lot of things go on in her life. And I mean, I love actually what's happening with Britney right now. You know, this whole Free Britney thing is amazing. And I hope she does. I think she did get her freedom. She actually did get her freedom. But in any case, he went into this interview with Britney Spears and she clammed up. She wasn't saying nothing. And he was trying to get information out of her. So he decided, fuck it, I'm going to start putting on some moves that I would use in dating. And he started like nagging her. He went through the whole process. And he ended up getting this super in-depth Rolling Stones interview that's still like a staple in the Britney lore, you know. So it's like there was just different aspects of his interviewing that he took from this, and I used to do some of that too, not nagging or anything like that, but I was like, wow, these are really cool questions. These are really cool ways to get to know people. And to sort of get him to open up. And that was really what it was about. It was like, you know, him fucking getting people to open up and women to open up. You know, like that was the whole thing. It was like, how do I get these women to sleep with me? He's this bald, scrawny dude. He's not the most attractive human being in the world. And he was slaying. And good or bad, for better or worse, whatever. Yeah, open up their legs, exactly. Leave Britney alone. Exactly, leave Britney alone. But he was able to get a really interesting interview out of her just by using some of these techniques, and I think that's I love that. I love that aspect of interviewing is like you can just sort of pull from all these different experiences and different methods and sort of use it as a tool belt and a toolbox and you can sort of use it for whatever thing you need to do and for whatever kind of person you need to talk to. And I forgot how we got here. How did we get here? How did we fucking get here?
I'm normally good at staying on top of your rants, but that one I might have lost.
Thank you. I'm glad that I was able to talk us out of fucking our you know what? Whatever. Nolan, do you hear that noise? I've been having some weird interference lately. Do you hear that? What is that? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is.
That means it's time for How Much Does It Cost? On Craigslist. All right, guys, we'll BRB. I'm going to go ahead and set up the Craigslist. We're going to be playing for, some woos. We're going to be playing for some stickers, and I have a few more patches left, so we'll BRB. You guys stay tight. And Nolan, if you have to use the bathroom real quick, this is your time to shine, baby. This is your time. We're almost done as well, Nolan, just so you know. All right, guys, we'll BRB.
One of the best memories I have, I guess this is '09, and we watched the band Thrice. I love the band Thrice. They get done, and all these women are screaming for Mr. Dustin Kinsrew, and I'm hanging out with my daughter, and Mr. Kinsrew runs, through the flailing hands of young feminine arms between the ages of 14 and 19. And Dustin leans down on one knee to my daughter and he says, did you enjoy the show, young lady? And she goes, you guys are pretty good. That third song on the second verse, you were really out of key. And I've never seen someone's pride/heart break so fast. And he's looking up at me, and obviously I'm her dad, and all I can do is pull a Peter Griffin and go,
You're the greatest dad I've ever known. I love you so much. I need you. You've made so many sacrifices for this family. You're the greatest dad. Ever. Ever, ever. I love you.
When I lit out for Reno, I was trailed by 20 hours. Didn't get to sleep last night till the morning came around. Said I'll run, but I'll take my time. A friend of the devil, just a friend of mine. If I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Ran into the devil, baby, loaned me 20 bills. Spent the night in Utah in a cave up in the hills. Said I'll run, but I'll take my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. If I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Ran down to the levee, but the devil caught me there. Took my $20 bill, vanished in the air. Said I'll run, but I'll take my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. If I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Got
Hey, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're doing things. Welcome to How Much Does It Cost on Craigslist, the only game where we get to guess on other people's garbage that they are trying to sell online. The game is pretty simple to play. We're going to be looking at different items off of Craigslist. I'll be reading the thingy. Oh, thank you, lovely Lace. I'll be reading the description and we'll be looking at the picture and you make a bid after that. You can go over. It's kind of like The Price is Right, but you can go over in price and you can't, very important, do not write two bids. I'm only taking your first bid. Fair warning. I don't care if you're new. Here we are. One bid per item. Okay. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Nolan, so we can get into this. I hope you enjoyed your break. Did you have a good break?
Ooh, it was good. Much needed.
Oh my God, me too. All right, guys, here's our first item up for bid. And oh yeah, and of course, I forgot, we are playing for one of our last patches we have, I'd Rather Be Home. This is one of our last patches from modedstudios.com. No winning this time, Reina. Exactly. And then, of course, we have the Woo and the WSEG coming for you live and direct. Okay, so that's what's up for wins today. Let's jump into our first item up for bid, which is a Chinese jade figurine. Let's see if I can read. I don't know how far I'll read this. This impressive, intricately carved green jade work from solid stone craftsmanship deserves the highest honor of excellence from the Chinese people. It's a very profound statement. Thank you. This is a two-piece gem. Is mounted on a wooden base to enhance its true beauty. Also find rare craftsmanship. I purchased this rare jade relic figurine from a poor Chinese family in Maui, Hawaii in 1997. They were in desperate need of food and clothes. We negotiated a good deal as I have cherished it ever since, stored in a lighted glass case for display for all to marvel. This guy sounds like a piece of shit. Now it's time to pass the torch to the next lucky owner to cherish whom appreciates the craftsmanship of fine arts of green jade mastery. By appointment only. David, leave contact information. Hey, David, make sure you leave the contact information. Chinese craftsmen have been producing jade objects for over 5,000 years. A few hundred years ago, master Chinese craftsmen who worked with jade daily recognized that some of the jade obtained from Burma, now Union of Myanmar, was different. It was harder, denser, worked more easily, and produced a higher luster upon polishing. I can't read that, sans jade. Okay, there we go. I shouldn't have read all that. Okay, Nolan, how much does this Chinese jade figurine that this person swindled off this poor family in Hawaii, how much do you think that's worth?
How much is it worth, or how much would I pay?
How much on Craigslist? How much do you think they're charging on Craigslist?
An American, right? I always struggle with this, with the Price is Right. I'm like, oh, that thing's $30, and they're like $2.
U.S. doll hairs.
Right? Yeah, I'm thinking like $3,000.
$3,000, he says. $3K. Nolan says $3K. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and through here. Oh my God, is this a troll? I don't think so. This is not a troll. No one needs to. All right, go ahead, everybody, and drop your bids if you want to play and you want a chance to win. I'd rather be in Side Patch or the 2 stickers up for grabs. I'll ship them anywhere in the world, so don't be afraid. Moving Dutchman, how dare you? I'm counting that as U.S. dollars, so that's just how it goes. All right, you guys got until the end of... Should we play the penis song? Yeah, why not?
Get your hand off my penis! My penis! Get your hand off!
Drop those bids.
Get your hand off!
Drop those bids.
Get your hand off!
Drop those bids.
My penis! My penis! 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 Penis!
All right, you guys heard the penis. By the end and the gunshot, you know that it was no more time. What am I even saying? Let's just read these bids, shall we? Penny says 125. This is so sad. Yeah, I know. It was sad. So you swipe their precious goods. Exactly. Assholes. $27.50 for Lovely Lace. Mermaid Serenade says $800. Lovely Lace says $2,750. I know that you were talking about dollars, guys. It's all good. Thank you. $15,000 for Bonnie. Reina Mystique, $3K for Nolan. Moving Dutchman, $575, whatever that is, but it's dollars. We're taking dollars. Reina, you're not gonna. Oh yeah, you're not bidding. I got you. Thank you. You're all good. Mermaid, $800. You're all good, guys. I get it. Next round, detachable penis. There you go. Used on Craigslist. Oh, why is those things up there? Hold on, guys. I'm getting rid of all this stuff. Give me 1 second, because I just don't want that up there anymore. All right, there it is. More things I forgot to do. All right, so we should probably find out how much this thing's cost. So go. Drum roll, please. Actual retail price on Craigslist. $750. That's loud, sorry. It looks like Mermaid Serenade definitely took that one all the way home. Mermaid Serenade is our winner for this round. We have one more round, so if you didn't win, don't worry. We got one more round coming for that ass. All right, so Mermaid, I'm writing your name down. Go ahead and you can either jump into the Discord, or if you don't feel like hearing another Discord server beep at you, you can just whisper me your mailing address, or I don't know if Reina's mailed you something, but if she has your address, I can get it off hers. $20. Well, whatever you want to do, it's probably easier. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I bet they gave him like $20. They're probably this hungry family and they're just desperate. They're so desperate. I bet, look, they were in desperate need of food and clothes. They were so fucking desperate and sad and pathetic. I can't, oh gosh darn it. Okay, next item up for bid. I'm glad I stopped actually. Rare MLK Jr. mini book. Rare. I have searched everywhere and cannot find another book like this. That's it. That's all they wrote. That's it.
I assume it didn't belong to MLK.
I don't know. That's all it told me. This is all it says. All that we see here is all that the whole thing says. And there was extra pictures, but I don't think it was written by him. I don't think he was writing in it. I think it's just a book that was published. Oh, now you're bidding, Reina? Now you're bidding? How dare you? Can we see the pictures? No, I'm afraid not. This is a screenshot, so we got to deal with this. And it says, I have a dream on it. If you can't see that, I know it's hard. It does say something about Martin Luther King on the book. So I do apologize that there's not more pictures to see. But if you look down here in these little squinty pictures down here, you can try to hurt your eyes looking at it. There you go. I just had to. It's a book. Yeah, it is a book. Nolan, how much does this item cost on Craigslist?
$20.
20. Nolan had that locked and loaded. $20 for Nolan. All right, guys. Yes, a rare mini book. You guys got until Sonic Drowns to get your bids in. Go ahead, drop your bids. Drop those 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 bids. All right. That was gross. Okay. Is everybody bidded? You can still bid if you want. Lovely Lace, good job. You got in there right out of the nick of time. You guys can still bid while I'm reading through. La Cruz, I'm going to tell you, La Cruz, I'm taking your first one. You might have missed it, and that's okay. I get it. You only get one bid, and I take the first bid you write down. So, and I see what you're trying to do. Trying to be sneaky. But so I'm going to take your first bid, just so you know. Just so you know. Much love. It's okay. Price is right. Yes, exactly. All right, let's start reading these bids here. Reina Mystique says $25,000. Mermaid Serenade, we can't see pictures. Penny says $175. Mermaid says $90. Bonnie says, rare mini book. $333 for Bonnie. Now I want to go on The Price is Right. Well, you can. Just go to LA and get in line. $20 for Nolan. La Cruz Music, $55.89. Moving Dutchman, $54.94. Lovely Lace says $165. And let's see, I think that is right. When I post my parents' tandem from the 70s, I'll send a link. Bitch slaps are fun. Oh my God. Sweet, I like it. Oh, yes, yeah. Ooh, Drew Carey. Dude, I saw the best joke on Drew Carey. I can't even remember what it was, but it ended with they were roasting Drew Carey, and it was on his roast. And he said something about the sound of your balls hitting the back of a hooker's ass. But they said a whole line, and that was like the end. I know that was gross, but I mean, we're just picturing Drew Carey just. All right, I'll stop. All right, yeah, black. Moving Dutchman is so fresh right now. You guys don't even know how fresh Moving Dutchman is. All right, he's 95%, just so you know. Now you know. Okay, let's find out how much this thing costs. That's a very specific and accurate sound. I've had a lot of practice. Yeah. So there's extra skin. Yeah. So it kind of sounds like skip the hookers and you feel fresh. Yeah. There you go. Skip the hookers. Or not. If you like hookers, then whatever. That's you. I don't care. Let's see. It's not that drum. Too much picture. Oh, that's not how you spell drum. All right, drum roll, please. Oh, thank you, Reina. Actual retail price on Craigslist. $250,000.
I was a little off.
Wow. So who was even close to that? Yeah, wow was right. Books, baby. Books. Books. Check 'em out. Books. Check
I think
'em out.
Reina was closest.
No, really? Oh, yeah, because she said 75K. So now it's between, well, I think it might be Lovely Lace. 165. No, it's Bonnie. Bonnie. You finally did it, Bonnie. You finally did it. You won. There you go. Okay, so we have these. I have one of these patches left, and I have 2 stickers. So whoever says it first can get what they want, and I might even add a bonus stuff in there. So you know what? We're just gonna do it like this. Today, you guys get patches and stickers, because I have a little bit of patches left. And so I'm going to send them out. Whether you're an LA native or not, you're getting this. You're getting this. Even if you're not an LA native, you're getting this LA native thing. So whatever you guys want, we got that. I'd rather be home. Everybody gets the stickers, and that's okay. Okay, my toddler is waking up from her nap. I gotta go. Bye, Mermaid Serenade. Make sure you send me your address, Bonnie, same, if you want to jump in the Discord, or if not, I understand. You can just whisper me your address, and I will send that out tomorrow. And yeah, it's not, but I'll take it. Okay. Well, you can. Whoever tells me what they want first between the patches wins. So whoever messages me and tells me what they want first gets the patch they want. But both of y'all get stickers. So that's just part of the deal today. Just feel like giving away shit. All right, guys. That was an exciting game. Let's go back and say our proper goodbyes to our guest and wish him the best for the rest of his day. Oh, golly, that's not what I wanted to do. That's gross. Come on, Mike. Here I am. All right, hold on. Just give me a second, guys. Let me.
Other way.
You almost had it. We almost had it. All right, here we go. Now we're better. I can see. Oh wait. There we go. Boom, we're back. We're back. Look at us go. I'd rather be home. Shotgun. There you go. You said it first. I saw it here first. Bonnie, it's your birthday. Is it your birthday? Oh, it's not, but I'll take it. I see. We read English good as well. Nolan, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know things kind of went on a little longer than what we had mentioned, but thank you for sticking with us and hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. How can people find you? How can people find your podcast? When can people see pictures and videos of you jamming out as a kid? When is all this happening?
So you can follow us. I've got the link tree. You guys posted it, so that's awesome.
You'll find that in the show notes. I'm sorry.
EPILID.
Yeah, look.
Nope, all good.
Give me a second. You'll find that in the show notes as well. And please say your link tree again.
I unplugged myself.
Good.
Have I returned or I lost sound?
You are. You're here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Nolan?
Well, I can kind of hear you.
Oh, okay.
I screwed up my headphones.
Nice. Hey,
There we go.
Hey, there I am.
A little bit.
Okay, so go ahead and say your link tree again for the people listening.
So it's linktr.ee/EPILID, EPILID. So Facebook's on there, Instagram. I don't do Twitter. I don't do TikTok because I don't know how. And then the link to the podcast is on there. Basically, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you'll be able to find that. Just search for Every Podcast I Love Is Dead. We do a new episode every Thursday. It releases at 6 a.m. my time, so 6 a.m. Mountain Standard, 8 a.m. Eastern. This week, we've got another Ohio band. Ohio just seems to be the place to be. They're called Skirt. They're like a three-piece punk rock band from Dayton. Just released a split album with another band from Cleveland called Lung. So they're going to be on the show this week. Really excited about that one.
Hell yeah. And what, was that it?
My headphones are still
Oh, I was like, I do that a lot. Yeah, I think we all do.
Well, we made it this far.
We
so
did.
good.
This is the end. So we're good. We got it pretty good. All right, guys. So we'll be back Friday with Uncle Ray. He's coming back on the show. He has a new song out. He's an amazing rapper here from Toledo, Ohio. Anybody got any raid suggestions? I'm just looking here, and just looking off the top here. I'm not really liking all that I see on my end. So if anybody has any suggestions, I am open. Now that I have listened to Morphine's Thursday song. Oh, Morphine's Thursday song. Oh yeah, there is a band. Oh, is she on EBX? Let's do it. We're going EBX. We might as well. It makes sense, right? It just makes sense. She has a podcast out with Nolan. Nolan's on the show.
She was my guest last week.
Exactly. So this just all makes sense. Thug Shells. I never heard of Thug Shells, but we'll get them next time, Bonnie. Thank you for your suggestion. Thug Shells sounds dope, though. But we're gonna go say hi to our friend EBX Aaron, who's been on the show, who is the last guest on Nolan's show. Every Podcast I Love Is Dead, which you can find the link tree up there in the chat, and also if you're listening, you can find it in the show notes. So go and click around and give your boy some love. All right, guys, we're gonna go say hi to our friend EBX Aaron, who's an amazing singer-songwriter from Detroit, Michigan. Everybody, say goodbye to Nolan. Get your raid calls, and let's go make a scene. Oh my God, I'm burping. And we'll be back Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see you guys back here on Friday with some party time. I hate doing this all by hand. All right, gang. We'll see you guys over there. Bye-bye.